Hey there, welcome back. This is Dusty Wetton at Tax Debt Services. I'm one of the tax attorneys here and wanted to make a video about the offer and compromise. This one in particular is about, do you qualify, or do I qualify? And to determine that, we look at one important equation. And this equation again is disposable monthly income times a multiplier plus available equity and assets. That equals your fresh start settlement that the IRS will give you. All right. Now, if that math is showing that you have, a number here that's more than your tax liability is, of course that means you don't qualify. But if it's low enough, then it does show an opportunity to settle your tax debt. Now, this tool is by far the best tool to get tax relief. All right, bankruptcy is available to people to discharge tax debt, but we're looking for other options here. And the best option for this type of debt is the IRS Fresh Start program. All right, so I want to break down this equation a little bit more so that you have a good understanding of what it is. The disposable income, we'll get to that in a second, but first the multiplier. The multiplier is either 12 or 24. That's what it is as of this video. And there are two options, either 12 or 24, based upon which offer program you're applying for. If you're applying for the one that takes 5 months to pay it off, then that one is the 12. If you're going on instead a 24-month payment plan, then you're using the 24-month multiplier. All right, so either 12 or 24. Most of the time, most offers that I see are the 12 multiplier. Now, these two figures here, 12 and 24, are way more advantageous to you than they've ever been before, starting in 2011 when the IRS made this change. They used to be something as high as 84 and 120. And think about that as a multiplier. That is causing so many people not to qualify. But now that they've made this change, made this adjustment, that multiplier is more friendly than ever before so that you can take advantage of this program. All right, moving forward into the disposable monthly income. Now, this is a little more complicated, so I'm going to break it into two parts. To find the monthly disposable income, you need to first identify what income is and then what expenses are to give you the result of what the monthly disposable income is, right? How much money is left over after you pay for your basic living expenses. That's what monthly disposable income is. So let's first start with income. When IRS is saying income, they're saying income for the household, all right? This isn't just your paycheck. It's all income for everybody living in your house, all right? Doesn't matter whose debt it is, doesn't matter about whether it's taxable or not taxable income, just how do you pay for expenses? All right, so that's income. Expenses. Going into expenses is much more fun, all right? Now, they've categorized expenses based upon how many people are in the household, the age of the people in the household, and what county that household exists in, all right? And these numbers are set once a year, usually in the spring, and they're showing by each county and number of people and age what standard national expenses will be for that household. So that's kind of giving a line item to look at, and then moving forward, it's adjusting that item based upon reality. But if you're, let's say, in Texas somewhere, you can't say that your rent for one person is $5,000 a month. That exceeds reasonableness, right? That's not something that you should be doing. The IRS instead will say, well, we'll allot you this certain amount. And if you did move to a different location and expensed rent at a different rate, maybe you could afford to pay the IRS, right? So they're going to hold you this line of a national standard. But these standards are different based upon county, age, and quantity of people because, a 25-year-old with 2 kids in San Francisco has a very different lifestyle and expense budget compared to a 65-year-old single person in Alabama, right? They have different lifestyles, different expenses, different expense categories in general. On these expenses, they kind of break them into general categories, all right? So we have the food and clothing, right? That one makes sense. The other one is housing, so how do you pay for rent, mortgage, utilities, and then transportation is another one, being either a monthly payment or just the gas maintenance on the vehicle. And then healthcare, so health insurance or out-of-pocket healthcare cost. And you can notice with all these categories that they're all necessary, right? The IRS is allowing you to pay necessary living expenses so that you're not impoverished. And Beyond that, if you have expenses for tithing or for household cleaning or something other than what is IRS deemed necessary, you're not going to get that expense, right? The IRS is going to say we prioritize ourselves above that expense. But going through that, you've had your income and you've identified exactly what your income is. You've subtracted then the necessary reasonable expenses based upon who you are, how many people are in your household, your age, as well as what county you're in. And now you've identified from that what your monthly disposable income is. With that monthly disposable income, now you want to see, is it high enough to pay the IRS monthly? Most of the time with clients that we talk to, there isn't any money left over after they pay their monthly bills, right? The monthly in goes right back out and there's nothing left over to spend anything else with the IRS. So if that's you and that's what your equation is showing, then move on to that next step and talk about equity available in assets. Equity available in assets, the key word here is available. If it's not available, then proving that to the IRS is the game. But identifying what equity is available in assets is really key. IRS is looking for, assets that you don't need that instead can be paid to the IRS. So this could be a secondary home that you have, land or property that's not being used. The IRS doesn't want you to sell that necessarily, but they're not going to give you a settlement because you could sell that. You're not using it, you're not residing there. Investments, retirement accounts that are just sitting there available to be used, but you don't want to. All right, the IRS doesn't care about your wants at that moment. You're asking them to settle your tax debt, so you have to prove to them it's not available. Most of the time that's where we see problems, or when it's a secondary piece of land or property, or if it's a high investment or retirement account that is exceeding your tax debt. All right, but if that's not you, if you don't have those things, all right, you don't have equity available, and you have no investment retirement accounts, and you have no monthly disposable income, well, do that equation with me, all right? Monthly disposable income, 0. Times the multiplier, 12 times 0, 0. Plus available equity and assets, 0. 0 plus 0 equals, this is where the math gets messed up here, it's legally 1, all right? $1, it would be your legal settlement with the IRS. So that's what you could be doing with this equation. So this is fun, it's complicated, I enjoy it, that's why it's my job. But helping people identify whether or not they qualify just by answering those basic simple questions and then going into the forms and actually applying for this program is the offer and compromise. And we've been greatly successful at helping out thousands of people reduce their tax debt through this program. So if you think you're there, the next step is really to get to how you apply, all right? And that's where you want to give us a call, 800-822-4122. Let our professionals go through, make sure that you are actually qualifying and that you don't make a mistake. You could also go to our website at taxdebtservices.com/do I qualify. Fill out that form there and let us again review it to make sure you meet the criteria. We want to make sure we're only helping people that actually qualify, all right? So with all that, thank you for your time today and look forward to talking to you soon.